What's good, Revs fam? My name is Chris, and you're watching Revs Revolt Weekly Rewind. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for all the support on last week's video. I'm thrilled to be able to keep making this content. And this week, we got some things to discuss. Alright, let's kick off this week by addressing the elephant in the room. COVID-19, coronavirus, it's just such a crazy global pandemic that has been affecting everybody's lives on a nearly immeasurable scale. Of course, it's obviously affected our lives with how we interact with each other, how we interact with sports, how we proceed on a daily basis, and we're not able to kick back at the end of the day and throw on the TV and watch some hockey, some basketball, whatever you want to watch. Obviously, we want to watch soccer as well. That's why we're here, but right now we're just kind of stuck in this holding pattern. Possible signs of hope coming out of Germany. They've been practicing now for, I think it's been 3 weeks, and on May 6th, on this coming Wednesday, just a couple days now, they're going to be making a final decision on whether or not they can return to play and finish out the 2019-2020 season. There's been mixed response as far as whether or not they should go ahead or not. I know a lot of players have spoken out and expressed some concern as far as returning too early, and I kind of have to side with the players on this. Like, of course I want it back. I cannot wait to see the first match after this whole pandemic is over and behind us. But we have to be cautious on this if we're ever going to see it end anytime soon. If the government can agree that the Bundesliga has a way to go ahead and proceed and a way that they think it's going to be safe, I'm all for it, and I really hope that they bring it back and they can set a map for the rest of the world to follow. So as for when we'll see soccer again in the US and Canada, I think that we're a bit of a ways off. But it's going to be really interesting to see what plays out with the Bundesliga, how they finish out their season, assuming they can finish their season. I really hope that one way or another they can finish it, whether it's in a couple of weeks or maybe a month or two now, and then they delay the start of the 2020-21 season. I'm not really sure what exactly that's going to look like, but all I want is soccer back. All you want is soccer back. So let's hope that we all end this pandemic sooner rather than later. Now, as far as MLS returning to play anytime soon, like I just said, I'm not sure that that's going to happen anytime soon. However, we do have a glimmer of hope. May 6th, players are allowed to voluntarily practice on team training facilities, not actually accessing the buildings themselves, but using the fields for individual drills. For one, it's going to be really interesting to see what players are able to take the field and take the opportunity to get out there and get back in shape if they're not already staying in shape. And two, I'm hoping that we actually get some sort of media coverage of the players actually out there, because we need to see it. I know a lot of players have been very active on their social media, and I'm sure that we'll see some things there. And as far as I know, all the Revolution players have stayed local. So we should see, I would hope, all the players out on the field at one point or another in the coming week. And from there, maybe we can get to see some closed door action. Again, just like my thoughts on the Bundesliga, as long as there's a plan in place to make sure that it's going to stay safe and keep the players safe and keep the staff and everybody else around involved in the whole operation safe. I'm very intrigued in that process, and I want to see it happen. I know there's been some talk of same site, same venue, closed venue action. There's been a couple of sites announced. I'll put them on screen now because I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but that's definitely an interesting proposal. And with players getting back on the field, we can start to think about when are we actually going to see a match and what is the MLS season going to look like. That's a video for another day. So let's try out something new, a player profile segment. And what better way to start a new segment than with a new player, at least a new player to the Revolution. Henry Kessler. Number 4, our newest center back. Joining the Revs by way of the 2020 Super Draft, he was picked with the 6th overall selection and the Revolution's first selection in the year's draft. Henry Kessler is a tall and rangy center back who has aerial prowess and definitely has the ability to track back. He's young, he's going to make some mistakes, but we've only seen him in 2 matches so far, and I can't think of a better way for any young defender's career to start. I guess I could, maybe with 6 points instead of 1, but aside from that, I think Henry's off to a bright start, and I think he's going to have a bright future. In college, Henry even made the 2019 All-ACC first team while playing out of Virginia. That same year, Kessler was also a semifinalist for the Mac Hermann Trophy, which is awarded to the best D1 soccer player in the U.S. You can also find the Revs' newest center back on social media through his Instagram and his Twitter account. You can tune in to an interview with Henry Kessler by Sean and Greg of Revolution Recap at their latest podcast, linked down below in the description. Also, in the comments below, let me know who you want to see in the next profile segment. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you want to know about. Alright, thank you so much for making it this far. That brings us to the last segment, which is the very first mailbag. Jumping right in, I got some questions over on Twitter, and I'm going to look at them, and I've definitely looked at them already, so I know what to expect, but let's see what I have in response to this. Revolution Report. I got Revs 2 squad review. A lot of the players have highlight videos on YouTube. A lot of the players do have highlight videos on YouTube. I've definitely watched quite a few of them. Don't remember any of the players' names off the top of my head that I wanted to talk about. So, of course, I came unprepared for this question. But I did want to say I love the idea of doing a squad review for this. Definitely will be a future video. We have some players that have a lot of USL experience, as well as a lot of really young players that don't. And then we've also got players that have come up from the academy. So it's going to be a really interesting mix of players coming together there. We haven't seen anything on the field yet from this team. It would be really, really exciting to see what we have coming up in the Revolution pipeline as well, as far as talent that we might be able to expect to see with the first team in the next couple of years. Definitely a young squad, and I don't want to get too much into it right now because I think that's just going to be a very, very big video. Also, I don't have anything prepared for going into a big video on that, but Revolution Report, thank you so much for that topic suggestion. I appreciate that. And yeah, let's definitely do that. Alright, next question comes from Revolution Recap. In your opinion, most underrated Rev of all time? Well, I've been a fan for a long time, but I have not paid that much attention since 2012, 2013 season, I want to say. I had a lot of fun watching Sire Sen, but I wouldn't say he was very underrated. I would say he was very rated where he should be. I'm going to have to go from about the 2012 season, I want to say, and on. Most underrated player. Daigo Kobayashi kind of comes to mind, but he was also underutilized a bit, but he was also very old. Oh gosh, this is a tough one for me. Is Chris Tierney underrated? If Chris Tierney is underrated, he is my answer. I know that obviously he's a legend around here, and he deserves to be a legend around here. But I'm not sure if he gets the same respect that he needs to get or that he deserves to get around the MLS. And I just said the MLS, and it was super cringe, but we'll roll with it. But anyway, Revolution Recap, thank you so much for the question. I appreciate it. I hope that's a good enough answer for you. Alright, last question I got comes from Rennie Swan. And Rennie says, home and away, playoff type series versus this season's Pigeons? P-I-G-E-ons? Go. Alright, I will go. Home and away. I don't like the new format. I don't like the single game elimination. I like home and away. I think that provides the best result, most fair result. And also, why is MLS trying to get rid of more money at the door? This league needs to grow more. We need more finances. You should be cramming as many matches down our throats as you possibly can. Bring back home and away, please. End of story. Alright, well that's it. Episode 2 is in the books. Thank you so much, and if you've made it this far, I greatly appreciate your time. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know if there's anything you want for next week's video. You can also find me on Twitter at Revs Revolt, or reach me through email, revsrevolt@gmail.com. I check them all regularly. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'll catch you around.